Ta-da! Hey everyone, it's Wednesday afternoon, it's 2:30 p.m. Swedish CEST, and it's Donny with your Innovation Fika. Innovation coffee break, Fika meaning coffee break in Swedish, as everyone knows, of course. Smorgasbord, Fika, Ombudsman, all of these fantastic words we've spread over the world. Anyway, Innovation Fika, a 30-minute coffee break with me, Donny, live here from Stockholm, Sweden, with a guest, always with a guest and an interesting topic. Before I introduce today's guest, I will just say, make sure to subscribe to my channels. Follow me on LinkedIn. I post almost daily about entrepreneurship and startups and innovation and new ideas. And then weekly, I go live here on LinkedIn and YouTube and Twitch as well with this Innovation Fika. So, and you can also subscribe to my newsletter. Go to innovationfika.com and fill in the form, and you'll get a weekly kind of newsletter with thoughts and reflections, and also some links to the previous and coming shows. And of course, if you're in Sweden, you can also text Fika to 71140, and you'll get the same form back in your mobile phone. So, subscribe to my newsletter. Follow me on the different channels. For everybody who doesn't know me, by the way, my name is Donny. I work in Stockholm at KTH, which is the biggest tech university in Sweden, where I, on a daily basis, help researchers and students realize their ideas. So I'm a dream realizer, idea fixer. So if anybody has an idea that needs to be fixed or realized, you just come to me and my colleagues and we'll fix it. If you're at KTH, that is. Anyway, enough about me, enough about that. Now to today's topic. Today's topic is all about, I won't say leadership. I won't say communication. I won't say human relations. I won't say employer branding. I'll say everything at the same time. I'll say Elise Slotte, who encompasses all of this in one. It's like she's like a magic Kinder egg of everything. So without further ado, I will introduce Elise. Hello.
Oh, hi, Donny. Thank you. It's so good not to put any pressure on me. I'm just going to talk about everything.
What do you mean? You mean the magic Kinder egg thing? Well, it is. I mean, it was like sort of, how am I going to introduce this incredible woman? Shall I say that she works with human relations, or shall I say that she works with leadership coaching, or shall I say that she works with employer branding? And I realized that you work with everything. So, yeah, it's you.
Yeah, there is a bit of the truth in this, because I'm going to talk about the human being.
Yes.
That's what I'm talking about.
You mean we can't just rely on machines and AI to fix everything? And
no, I'm sorry.
That hurt. It's hurt.
Yeah, I know. This is going to be a very tough 30 minutes for you, but I think you will realize that it's kind of good knowledge also, because this is an innovation pod. I'm going to talk about everything else than innovation, to be honest. I'm going to talk about the opposite of innovation, because we are hunting, for success and innovation and to be effective in our work and have the perfect life with the family and everything like that. We are hunting to invent and see what's best in the best all the time. But we have forgot some of the basics. We have forgot to take out the best of ourselves, of the humankind. Mm-hmm. And this is what I want to talk about, because if we are talking about innovation and forgetting about the human basic needs and what actually a human being are and what we need to be able to be innovative, we just put in a lot of money in nothing, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's a good intro there, a good intro. So what are you saying then when it comes to innovation and to management and leadership and companies? You're saying something about the human factor, that we have to look and listen, or what are you saying here about the whole?
Yeah, I have been working in quite many companies on different levels, and also as a consultant, and I have met a lot of leaders, a lot of teams, and I can often see that you point out a problem. We have a problem here. Here is a person that is always grumpy. They are never happy with anything, and they hate everything we try to do in the company. Yes. We need to remember we're going to have a grumpy pod also. Let's come back to that. Or it's some people just can't get along in the team because they are too different or whatever. And we often stop like that and see, okay, this is a grumpy person. What are we going to do with a grumpy person? But if we look behind, there is probably another problem that is the base of it.
Yeah. I mean, that's, yes.
Yeah.
That's super interesting, because I mean, I know that when I meet somebody, be it downtown or in a queue, whatever, and you know, their first reaction to me is like hostile for some reason. And I, you know, then my first reaction, like any other person, is to be hostile back.
Yeah.
Instead of thinking, hang on, why is this person hostile here? Is there something else that has got nothing to do with me whatsoever? But very seldom do we take that time to sort of, you know, there's a reason you say count to 10 before shouting at somebody, right? That, you know, the old saying of, you know, count to 10 and just cool down and understand.
Yeah, I'm still in practice on that one. And this is, as a human being, it's natural to be a mirror of what we get. That is why we always are talking about that smiles are infectious, you know, as well as grumpiness. And if we look at the basic human needs that we have, there are 4 basic needs that we need to have fulfilled and satisfied to function in a correct way. First of all, it's safety. And safety for, in the basic way, is to have somewhere to live, and we have food enough and whatever. This is the safety. And we also need some kind of excitement, some variation in life. Most people like that. There is a small part of people who doesn't want any kind of variation, but now we are talking more in general ways. We also have a need of feeling unique, and it doesn't have to be unique, Alexander Bard unique, if you know what I mean. We just need to feel that I matter. What I stand for and my competence and my personality, that would matter. And we also need some kind of love. It doesn't mean we need to love everyone, but we need to feel accepted. And if a person doesn't have this, it's impossible to be innovative or to be able to contribute to business development or contribute to the team, for example. Because when you don't have this basic 4 needs, the brain and all our souls are completely focused on just fixing that. If someone who listens now have been in the situation where you suddenly didn't have any money to pay your rent, I have been in this situation this last year. I had the good timing to move to Portugal 2 weeks before lockdown last year. Good for me. So I have had some challenges. And I can tell you, when you don't know how to pay your bills or how to pay your rent or how to buy food, you can't think about develop your business. Even if that's the rational thing to do, I need to really work harder, I need to develop and everything, but it's impossible because the brain is just focused on the basic things. So, yeah.
I mean, and that's really interesting, because even going back to Maslow's pyramid and the whole, you know, rationally, we know this.
Yes.
That is how human beings work. But it's so strange that organizations still today don't acknowledge that as well. I mean, there's a very famous Swedish researcher in creativity and organizational innovation capacity, Göran Ekvall. He's like the mentor of all research into creativity, 60s and 70s, and he listed 9 criteria for what creates a really innovative organization. And one of the most basic criteria was the Swedish word trygghet, which is personal safety, the feeling that this is a safe environment. I can put up my hand, I can say what I want, and people will listen to me. They will, as you said, they will acknowledge me. They will see me as a person. They will listen to what I say, and it's safe. I won't be laughed at or kicked out or fired or whatever. So that safety part and the feeling of trygghet, which is a wonderful word in Swedish, but I can't really translate it to English, is super, super important. So you work with big companies, but you work with any companies, but it's I know it's easy to say that you work with HR, but it's not. HR isn't just a department.
No, well, I work in the HR area, so to speak, because that is what we choose to call it. I'm going to come back to what I think about the word HR in the end of this show.
Yes.
And I work with companies who have people in their companies.
Yeah.
And that is quite a lot of companies.
That could be most of them, I think. That could be actually most of them. Yeah.
As you said, what I'm talking about is not innovation at all. It's the basic, because we have forgotten about it. We often talk about finding balance in life. We want balance between work and free time, and we want balance in our work. We need to have, some excitement in work, and everything about balance. But balance for me is not about how many hours we're going to work, or how many hours we spend with our family, or how many hours we spend at the gym. That is not balance. That is time management. It's not about balance. Balance is about to look at this 4 basic needs: safety, excitement, feeling unique, and feel loved. That's where the balance needs to be. And when we realize, okay, what do I need to feel safe? What do I need for excitement in my life? Then we can go to the time management and put in different stuff to fulfill this needs. So I want to turn people's mind around a little bit, and especially leaders. And I think the tricky part here is the time issue, because somewhere down the lane, we have forgotten to be a leader takes time. Most leaders today, they work as hell, to be honest, but they don't have time to do the basics. They don't have time to spend quality time with their staff, to actually see them, to actually acknowledge each person, to have small team activities now and then to make the team know each other. And I think as long as the companies doesn't understand that leaders needs time for their staff instead of administration, this is never going to be solved. Then you can work with innovation and development as much as you like, but it's not going to work.
But so many things come to mind when you say this. By the way, your web address there, elises.com. Go to her web address and read more about everything that she...
It's both in Swedish and English.
Yes, perfect. So many things come to mind there. And one thing you said, I remember speaking to some students, this was a long time ago, and I was talking about, we help them start companies, and we talk about basic leadership and team development. And then somebody put their hand up and they said, well, you're talking about all of this that a good leader should be or try and do, but all of the leaders I've worked with or had in companies they'd been working in or doing master thesis work in, they were not, the ideal persona of what would be a good leader. And I said, why is that? And I said, and my only answer was, because usually being a leader is quite hard work. You actually have to care. You have to take time, as you said, exactly what you said. Have to care, and you have to take time, because if if you're a leader and not an administrator, as in leading people, it's all about the people, not about the administration. And that's a second thing you said, which I really want to emphasize as well, is that if you're in a leading position, in my opinion, then, and you find yourself only administrating, and you find yourself not even having time to speak to your fellow colleagues or employees, then there's something wrong. Then there's something wrong, because as a leader and a head of a department, you're supposed to lead the people that are supposed to do the work.
Yeah. And for if we go back 20 years in time, most CEOs, for example, and other higher leaders, they had a secretary. Today we laugh a little about, oh, you have a secretary, that's so old. But I think it's quite a good idea, because it's very good investment. So the leader can invest of his time in the team instead. It's not an extra cost to have an administrator. It's something that will higher the profit, because you can get the best of the human beings.
Well, I mean, the question comes, well, you get to a point where, I mean, can you afford not to have that help?
Yeah, exactly.
Because all of this self-administration that we're forcing on people. This is an old example from when I was in the army, officer in the army for 10 years, and the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, they started cutting down a lot, and self-administration became a big thing, and we had to do all of the work ourselves, and the leading teams became smaller and smaller and smaller, and we did less and less work with the actual job, and more work was just administration, and in the end it just imploded because we just couldn't do a good job anymore. So I completely understand what you're saying here.
And maybe there is some company owners listening to me now that will not be so happy with me, but I don't really care, to be honest, because I want to say to all leaders out there that we need to say no. When you are starting a new job as a leader in some kind of management where you are responsible for a team of people, look at the description of what you are supposed to do in work and make sure it's reasonable to do that in the working hours that you have.
Yes.
If you feel that this is not reasonable, you don't say no to the work, but you need to have a discussion about it. When you're already a leader and they are putting this project on you, and now you're going to do this, and it's this Excel document and whatever, then ask them, okay, I'm happy to do this. I'm happy to do this. But then you need to tell me what from this list you don't want me to do.
Exactly.
Because I don't have time to do both. And as long as we just get along with this crazy tempo we have, people are gonna be ill at work, and that is the biggest problem we have, not only in Sweden, in many countries, that people doesn't feel well at work. And this is what I mean. Of course, there is a lot of factors, but if we don't take care about the basic needs and look at this grumpy person and ask ourselves, okay, why is he grumpy? Doesn't he feel safe here? Isn't he loved by the group, so to speak? What is the actual problem? And take our time and ask questions. We're not going to ask questions as we want to find out what the problem is. We want to ask questions because we are interested in the person. We want to ask personal questions because we want everything to be good. We want everyone to feel good. And yeah, we really need to go back to the basics again.
Yeah. And I will just say on the topic of asking questions, there's an echo here on the line, I think. Can you hear an echo from me? Or am I echoing? Anyway,
yes, sometimes, yeah.
There is a weird echo here. Anyway, sorry about that, everyone, about the quality of the... well, it's better now. Anyway, regarding questions, post your questions in the comments. We have some people online here. Lewis says good morning, good afternoon. Hi, Lewis Carter. Hi. And we have Kim as well. Hi, Kim. Hello. Say hi, ask your questions. We have another 10 minutes to go, me and Elise here, before we say thank you very much for this coffee break. So post your questions in the comments, and we can also have a chat with you as well. I will post the elises.com, your website address, and I will also do some shameless promoting of your upcoming... You actually have a upcoming webinar series, right?
Yeah.
In something called the Bocadero Arena, bocaderoarena.se.
Yeah, it works very well in English.
Bocadero Arena
have you actually thought about what Bocadero means in Swedish?
You mean in Swedish?
Yeah.
It's like a slang of man bokade då. Like book it.
Bocadero. It's like book it then. Yeah.
So go to bocaderoarena.se and sign up for Elise's is it 6 series webinar on human perspective, human relations, I think.
Yeah, it's a theme network as a theme in HR and people culture.
Yes.
And we have already had our first meeting. We have our next meeting at 15th. And it's a network, so you can interact, and you will have some group conversations, and talk about your own experience and stuff. But we have a theme in every meeting, and we have some guests. So the 15th, I'm going to have one CEO, one HR management, and one marketing manager, one production manager, and one person from the union. And we're going to talk about how we can make better strategic decisions in companies. Because what I have seen many times is that the marketing department, they are making great decisions here for marketing and sales. And HR are making great decisions over here about HR. But when they try to implement it, somewhere it doesn't really fit. Maybe the production doesn't fit in it. So I want managers to be more communicative with each other when they are going to make this strategic decisions. As soon there are people involved, I believe that HR is going to be involved, and vice versa.
And that was on the 15th, you said, 15th of September.
Yes.
Yes. So everyone, go to bocaderoarena.se. That sounds super interesting for anybody in management, HR, marketing, or production, or in a company that wants to understand how to make better strategic decisions. Thank you. I'm just looking at the time here, and we're getting close to ending off our coffee break, but we don't finish until our guests have given us their 3 best tips. So I'm now going to ask Elise here for Elise Slotte's top 3 tips for working with the human perspective. And tip number 1 is turn off and tune in.
Turn off and tune in. When you want people to listen to you, when you want people to interact with you, you need to turn off everything else. Multitasking is a myth. It's just a stupid word and a stupid idea that the human brain is not made for. Turn off your phone, turn off notifications on your computer. Just be with this person. When you're gonna listen, or you want the person to listen to you, turn off everything else and be right here. That's my first tip.
Thank you. Thank you very much for reminding us and me about that, because I think we all need to be reminded about that one. Thank you. Tip number 2.
Yes, look beyond what you see. That's what we are talking about this grumpy person. It's very rare that people are completely honest, because honesty can be very inconvenient. So if someone says, I have this problem, or I feel like this, just think about it a little bit. Ask a question, see what is behind. Because if a person is going to feel safe enough to actually tell the absolute truth, you need to have this communication. So try to see the person behind the mood, behind the bad comment or whatever it is. Look beyond.
Wonderful. And tip number 3.
Yeah, about this HR that we are talking about. For me, HR is not a department. HR is the mindset. And I know that Björn Adlén talked about this in the first HR network meeting I have, that in the future, in a modern company, and already today, of course, HR needs to be the heart of the organization. The people who works with the people and the people focus needs to be the heart. It's not the products, it's not what you're selling, it's the people. So as soon as we do it into that mindset and remember that everything is about the people, it's going to be so much easier to have good innovation, good development, better products, better clients, relationships, everything.
Thank you. And thank you, Elise, for 3 really, really good tips. And I will also use these when I work with the potential startups that I work with here that might become your clients in a couple of years' time when they grow up and become companies. But for everyone else, but of course, and I will invite everyone, of course, to, as I said, we'll do it one more time. Go to elises.com and read more there. Check out bocaderoarena.se for the upcoming events with Elise there as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for being online. I know we've had a bunch of viewers, even though the comments and questions haven't been that frequent. Thank you so much, Elise, for taking time out of your day, for having a cup of coffee with me. It's been great.
Happy to be here.
And you're in Algarve in Portugal, right?
Yes, of course. I live in Algarve. And okay. I work in every country in the world, of course, online.
Of course. So send and connect with Elise on LinkedIn. Have a look at her homepage. Go to Bocadero Arena. Sign up for the webinars. And have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Elise, for being a part of the show. And thank you, everyone, for watching. This will be on YouTube in a couple of days. And I'll see you all next week for the next show. Bye for now.
Thank you.